Hello, folks. This is KW Wayne on Detroit Tiger Talk. Hope you're having a great day. It's raining here, but it's not raining in Detroit. The Tigers have gotten the first leg of their trades completed. Last night, it was reported that Tarik Skubal has been traded. Most people did not expect that the Skubal trade would take place until sometime on Monday. However, it took place last night. They got an outfielder that is going to be a very good outfielder, I believe, for them. And they have two pitchers that have a lot of upside. One of them has had some injury problems. However, he has the ability to be with Detroit for quite a while. There was another pitcher that they were thinking about getting, but he did not have a whole lot of team control, so they decided that they would go with this guy instead, even though he has had some injury history. Now, Skubal has had some injury history, but he has still done well, so they believe that this young man will be the same way. The reason I believe that Detroit has gotten this particular trade completed as soon as they did is because of the fact that they want to be able to keep as much of the level of value on the team as they can. By getting these three guys, they believe that they have gotten back some of the value that Skubal had. In fact, depending on what happens over this year, next year, and 2028, it's possible they might even wind up with more than what Skubal's value was. But I believe the reason that they've done it so early is because they have several other players that they would like to trade. What's going to be very interesting, they're going to try to maintain as much of the value level for the rest of these players as they can, but they also have something else in mind. The trade is going to seem like a sell-off, but as they are trading, they are going to try to be buyers as well. Now, it's going to be a real trick to be able to sell, say, a Mize or a Flaherty, and yes, I did say Flaherty. He's got about a week left on his on the injured list, but it looks like there are teams interested in him as well. The reason is that there are so many teams that want to compete this year that do not have starting pitchers. And those starting pitchers, for the most part, are either injured or they just don't exist in those particular teams. And so they're going to go after a person like Mize. They're going to go after a Flaherty. Some of them are even probably going to go after Drew Anderson. I think you'll see Torres, the second baseman, possibly being traded. And who knows, Finnegan and Kenley Jansen might even wind up getting traded in this scenario. But what is going to happen on the flip side of all of this is that while they are trading some of these players, they're not only going to try to maintain the value, but they're also going to be trying to do it in such a way that it's almost like a buy. In other words, they're going to be selling and at the same time buying. So what they get in return for Mize hopefully will help them in the bullpen. What they get for Flaherty will help them somewhere within the team as well. And so that is what they're trying to do. And I think it'll be very interesting. Harris has not really been one to do well with the trades. At least I haven't felt that he has. And I think that it's going to be very interesting because if he can do a buy-sell on each of this next group of trades, it is possible. They've got 3 or 4 guys in the AAA right now who are supposed to make their appearance for the first time in the majors um, this year. This is their debut year, and they haven't been here yet. And so it is possible that some of these guys might be able to come up. There are some pitchers in the minors, mostly starters, that are going to possibly get a chance. And so if they have to take somebody who's not major league ready for Mize or for Flaherty or Torres, it is possible that they might be able to bring in somebody else. You have Montero, you have Madden, and a few of these guys who can pitch in relief, but they can also be starters. So that's very good. You also have Holton, who can start a bullpen game and does very well most of the time when he starts out of the bullpen. So it's possible that Detroit can get through it. My prediction, a lot of people said after the sale of Skubal that the possible 30% chance of Detroit making the playoffs was now down to 20 or 15%. I've heard all kinds of different things, but I don't believe so. I believe that Skubal is just one player. He can do well every 5th or 6th day, but that's all he can do. You take a player like Montero, he can pitch every 3 or 4 days. You take a player like McGonigal or Clark or any of the other guys who are hitting, they can contribute every day. And so the thing is that as long as Detroit has enough bodies to be able to cover the full 26 positions on the team, I believe that they have a chance to compete and wind up as a wild card, if not winning the division. It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't win the division, but it wouldn't surprise me if they became a wild card team. My feeling is that they have at least a 55% chance of making the playoffs. That means only a 45% chance of not making the playoffs. I think that they will be one of the wild card teams, and I do believe that they will get back to the ALDS. It's possible that this year, with the push that they have from the young guys like Valencia, uh, uh, McGonigal, Clark, Lee, and all these new guys that are coming in. Of course, you've got the regular cast of players that are kind of starting to catch fire as well. I think it's very possible that they could get to the ALCS this year. I think even in trading 3 or 4 or even all 6 of the players that I mentioned earlier, it's possible that they could go quite a ways because of the fact that they do have people that can cover every position on a 26-man active roster. And some of those people may very well be better than the people that they trade. I say go ahead, trade those people, get what you can get for them, and bring the people in that you need to bring in, and let's see what happens. I say the buy and sell at the same time in each and every one of the next group of trades, if there, in fact, there are any, could be very interesting to see what kind of a team Detroit will be after the trade deadline. I believe, and this is always my opinion, is that no matter who you trade, no matter how much value you think they have, there is always an opportunity for people to capitalize. Mark Fidrich said way back in the day, somebody hit into a double play and nobody on that team could hit. He yelled, "Okay, let's capitalize on that." Well, there's no way to capitalize on that. The team was getting 1 or 2 runs in a game that they scored on at all. And but he was an optimistic man. And for the short time he was in Detroit, it was great to see him because he was such a showman. And after he retired, he died very young in a farm accident. And it was very disappointing to lose Mark the Bird Fidrych. Some of you will remember him, and some of you might want to look him up because he was quite a player in his day. This is K.W. Wayne, and this is Detroit Tiger Talk. You have a good one.